Jokes are horrible.
That is funny.
Oh, I'm very glad you laughed. Okay, so what are we doing? Repair, right. The repair of the PNS and the CNS. Now, when we talked in Chapter 4, we talked about repair being from two different types of cells. Either they'd be stromal or they'd be parenchymal, right? I'm going to ask again, does anybody remember which one is original and which one is scar tissue?
Scar tissue is the one in the CNS.
Yeah.
Okay, wait to get there. Wait to get there. We're not there yet.
No, what are the two options?
Stromal and parenchymal. You remember? Anyone?
Stromal is scar tissue. No, parenchymal.
Anybody got their notes on them that they can go back and just quickly check?
Yeah,
and see if
yeah,
they got
keyword, scar tissue, the other one.
the what word?
The second one you said.
Parenchymal.
Yes, I said the P word. That's scar tissue.
Anyone? Anyone? I don't want anybody being like, isn't it that? Isn't it that? This would be in Chapter 4, you guys. Chapter 4.
Oh.
As I said, you guys, in Chapter 4 we covered the two different types of cells.
Well.
Repair. Okay, this is the reason why we covered that in Chapter 4. Is to make sure that you understood that there are two different types of repair and regeneration. There's repair and then there's fibrosis, right?
Right. And now I know where I'm looking.
Well, fibrosis deals with scar tissue.
Fibrosis deals with scar tissue, and repair and regeneration deal with regular tissue. But there was stromal and parenchymal. Do you remember which one goes with what? Are you certain on that fact?
Yes.
Because you're sitting there saying, isn't it? Isn't it this? Isn't it that?
I just want to know I'm right.
All right.
Yeah. I knew it.
Okay, well, never mind. Let's just keep going on. When it comes to the CNS and the PNS, we talked about the ability to repair and regenerate, or the inability, depending, okay? You already said it, the CNS is where there is a limited, if any, ability to repair damaged nerve tissue, right? Does anybody remember why?
Yes.
Why?
Because I have an idea.
Because it's your brain.
Okay, go ahead. Tasha.
Because all the cells
Teresa.
are being specialized.
Yes, kind of. Yes, kind of. I'd like to go a little bit further with that one, but go ahead. The neurolemma has a huge deal. Okay, wonderful. I want to go a little bit further with what you said. Okay, can you just say it again?
Well, it's with the specialization of cells, right? So
Keep going.
in your brain and spinal cord, everything's kind of set still. So
Okay.
I don't know.
So what you're sort of getting at is that in the nervous system, specifically your central nervous system, that there are no original cells that can differentiate to create new cells.
Yes.
That's sort of what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful, awesome. Now I'm going to throw just a little bit of a curveball in there, okay? In the brain and spinal cord, there are certain things that do not allow for the formation of new processes, like the axons. Because the axon, the matter for it can actually be created inside the cell body itself, but there are a couple of things that stop it. Number one, lack of a neurolemma. Okay, that neurolemma, remember when we talked about Schwann cells, that extra protective covering, you know, your clothes before you get into your bed, okay, that will actually form, or can actually form a tube for the growth of a new axon. But in the CNS, there is no neurolemma, right? So there is no tube formation. There is no place, there is no house, if you want to say it that way, for, there is no house, if you know, for new axon to go through, right, and to expand down and to travel down to create that axon and create those end bulbs, right? Also, microglia, remember our beautiful Lana there, our microglia eating up our neurotransmitter, okay, is there for protective purposes, right? So if you have damage somewhere in your brain, there will be debris left over from the damage. Makes sense, right? So what's she going to come in and do?
Clean it up.
Oh, clean it. She cleans it up. She gets in the way for any process to occur to allow for regeneration. Other thing is, in your brain, there's almost a kickstart to fibrosis. So scar tissue forms a lot faster in your brain and spinal cord than it does other areas of your body. It's a protective mechanism for our brains. So there we go. 3 major reasons that repair is practically impossible in the CNS. No neurolemma, microglia or other cells that are surrounding are getting in the way of the process itself, and scar tissue formation occurs a lot faster. 3 major reasons. Got those?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So in the peripheral nervous system, okay, so away from your spinal cord and your brain, there is the ability for a little bit of regeneration. It's a very, very, very slow process, okay? I'm talking, maybe a millimeter a day process. But if you have injury to a nerve, a couple of things have to remain intact. Your cell body has to remain intact because your cell body creates the matter that will travel down whatever's left of the axon to create new axon. Does that make sense? Right?
Oh, can you repeat that?
Yes. Your cell body has to maintain intact because it's going to create the matter that will travel down whatever is left of the axon to create new axon. Does that make sense?
And that's why you can slowly regenerate.
Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why you can. Second reason why you can, Mitch, you want to tell me? It has a neurolemma. Wonderful. And that neurolemma, what does it do? Forms a tube at the site of injury, just above the site of injury. It forms a tube and extends down and allows for that matter to extend through it. Right? That matter that's being created in your cell body, it's allowing it to extend down through the neurolemma tube. Okay? The other thing, because that neurolemma is there, what's going to happen with scar tissue?
Doesn't form.
Doesn't form. Why doesn't it form?
Because there's no house.
Because there is a house. Why doesn't it form there? Because there is a house there, the tube that is allowing for that regeneration. The scar tissue comes in and can't penetrate, right? Cannot cut off what's going to happen there, right? Scar tissue formation is also like tipping it.
It's just really, really, really hot.
Well, then you should turn it off. So scar tissue doesn't form quite as quickly in the periphery as it does in the brain and spine. Okay. Other thing that's the third main thing that is going to affect the regeneration process in the peripheral nervous system is the distance, right? The distance away from the spinal cord or from the cell body itself. Right. So something that occurs, say, at my Achilles heel, okay, or my Achilles tendon, is going to take a lot longer than something that happens in my shoulder, because the neuronal cell body is a lot closer to my shoulder, to the nerves in my shoulder, than they are to the nerves in my foot. Instead of being from, my C7 or T1 vertebra going to my shoulder, which is a very short distance, it's going from my S1 vertebrae all the way down to my ankle. That's a longer distance. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
There was no Dr. House.